So we had a number of different sub-teams at that point in sprints 3, 4, and 5. We did at that point, now that we just determined we were working with a pneumatic ventilator, we had a team working on airflow. So how do you take this compressed air from the wall and move it through the system and get it to the patient? So we had a team there. We had a team thinking about, wasn't really controls so much as sort of electronics. And that team actually ended up splitting, and we had a team working on the electronics within the ventilator, and then a team who started to work on the user interface. And what is this going to look like, and how is a clinician going to interact with this? Because the patient is, one really important stakeholder for us, but the clinician is another really important stakeholder. And so we wanted to make sure that we were really thinking about all the different types of people that were going to be interacting with this device. And I don't remember in which sprint we split up the electronics, but there were, there were sub-teams that were heading in those directions. But we also had a CAD team that developed it right around that time, because we were trying to think about, okay, we're putting this package together. We know we're going to need to model it, because the round 1 competition requirement was to have a model that you could put on GrabCAD. So we knew we had to model something. We also needed to model some sort of enclosure to put the whole ventilator in. And then we continued having a medical team because we realized, as we were trying to answer all of these questions, there was a lot of medical information that we just didn't know. And so we had a sub-team of people who became our sort of resident experts. None of them have medical degrees, but they would keep reaching out to various medical contacts that we had, friends and family and other connections. The competition ran a Slack channel, so we could reach out with questions to the medical team, medical folks that were there, and they would collect all the medical information that they were finding, and they would feed that back to the other sub-teams. So that was really important. And we had a project management team as well. And so I kind of moved around a little bit. I did some project management work. I worked with the CAD team a little bit. I worked with the airflow team for a while. So various different roles. We allowed people each new sprint to sign up for a new role or a new team that they wanted to be part of. And the people wearing the project management hat often would help out a particular sub-team. And the people like on the medical team would serve almost as a liaison to particular sub-teams. So we had a lot of integration in our network. It wasn't a bunch of silos of sub-team A, sub-team B, sub-team C without people speaking. We had a lot of people who were helping to make those connections in between the sub-teams. And that was critical, because otherwise we would not have been able to advance as well collectively.